Something mysterious is telling me to start the episode.
It's us. We're the Bittersweet Gamers.
I'm the Opinionator!
And I'm We Squared. What? Why'd you come back here?
Weren't you gonna rant about something? And I really didn't want to have to sit and listen to nothing but typing noises while you're ranting.
Oh, I suppose so. Okay. Okabe possesses reading Steiner, the ability to tell when the world line has shifted. So if someone changes divergence, he'll notice. Why then, when Suzuha time traveled to the past to kill Makise because you can't tell me that isn't what happened, did it not activate? What determines his base world line? What determines the base convergence? It sounds very arbitrary, and I just have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. They introduce a lot of elements in this game and say this is how it should work. But if you follow that through to its logical conclusion, you start to run into some problems.
Or it was cut from Elite.
I would think that the premise upon which the game is based would not have been cut from Elite, but I've been wrong before.
So, the game isn't going to just end. We're about to get to chapter 10, probably almost immediately.
I would imagine so, yes.
So that means something horrible has got to happen. Oh no. Fear rises in my chest. A sudden, terrible certainty that I am missing something vital.
I'm actually falling for Makise. Or it could be indigestion. From the noodles that I ate that had her name on it.
The very first D-mail started it all. Return to the world line that existed before I sent the first D-mail.
What makes this very interesting is the look on her face right now.
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan!
Ah, yes, but this is that Simpsons gag, though. Because he has realized where he is heading. You know, we've realized it.
Since the beginning.
Or at least a really long time ago. Oh God. I was right. I had missed something vital. Something dire. The world line I set my sights on to save Mayuri. The world line upon which Suzuha staked her hope for the future. On that world line, Mayuri lives. On that world line, CERN fails. And on that world line, Makise Kurisu dies. Stardust sky.
Endless apoptosis.
There was no doubt in my mind. This would solve everything. I like how that theory I had within the first few episodes actually appeared to largely be the truth. Good guess, Daymon, good guess.
Well, this isn't the first time we've rode this pony.
I guess we've predicted 3 really huge things. We did it with Persona.
Mm-hmm.
We predicted Danganronpa 2.
Mm-hmm.
We predicted Danganronpa 2 and Danganronpa 1, actually.
Does that count?
Nice. It was our one true answer. I thought that I had found the solution, that everything would be all right.
I was even tuning like I normally do.
Instead, I am left with a terrible choice, and I'm the one who has to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Kurisu. Or Mayuri. One of them must die. How cruel fate is. I came here because I wanted to be alone. The day before yesterday, I abruptly canceled the attempt to hack CERN.
Thankfully, with the time leak machine, he has all the time he needs.
What do I do? Let's say we go through with the plan and delete the first email I sent, the one about Kurisu's death, from CERN's database. That would return us to the beta world line where it all began. What would happen then? According to my predictions, our friend, lab member 004...
who's in a weird resolution for some reason.
Right? It's like we're in a 90s PC RPG. Makise Kurisu would disappear. Kurisu is not supposed to exist on August 15th. And so I am left with two options. Option 1. Hack CERN with the IBM 5100 and erase the first email I sent, thus returning to the beta world line. Kurisu will disappear, but Mayuri will live. CERN will never build a time machine, and the future will be free. Option 2. Don't hack CERN. Keep living here on the Alpha world line.
And all of your struggles and trials and tribulations will have been for nothing.
And not just your struggles and trials and tribulations, but those of everyone else and their feelings
that he's carrying with him.
That they've held to try and help you achieve this goal. He's thrown away everyone else. Why is this any different?
Right?
Because he wikes her? Well, didn't he wike everybody else?
Right?
Mayuri will die. CERN will gain control of space-time, and the future will be a dystopia where no one is free.
That's also kind of a problem.
That would seem to be the deciding factor, if you ask me.
どちらか選べだと
Yeah, you're the one who mucked around with time travel. Although, frankly, the first thing wasn't his fault.
That was an accident.
That was a complete accident.
Dude. You get a world where the future is free, most of the population of Earth is not wiped out, and your childhood friend, or you get a world where the future is oppressed by evil, most of the world's population has been wiped out,
and you get murdered and tortured
in 15 years, and you get your assistant, but only for 15 years, because then
the murder and the torture, etc.
If you had the strength to move past the others.
Why are you faltering now?
Because she means more? I don't know about that.
I kind of feel like Mayuri means more to him than Makise does.
It's tragic, but at this point...
At this point, it's just another heaping on the tragedy pile.
Well, okay, the thing that's different is that the others that he's pushed away aren't dead.
Okay, alright, that's fair,
Well, maybe there's another way, but...
I suspect, ultimately, that should be the true ending. Him finding a way to save her while still stopping CERN somehow.
Presumably.
Admittedly, I'm not sure how he'd be able to affect anything that far back, because he can't time leap, and he's already seen the folly of D-mails, and how imprecise they are. So I'm not sure how he's supposed to figure something out. Unless he goes back further.
Outside of that, if your only option is save the world or damn the world, as well as most everyone in it, just based on that should give you your decision. But maybe they can come up with something. Like Billy said, I highly doubt that, though. How am I, of all people, supposed to make that choice?
こんなの選べるわけないだろ
Well, you could break it down to Makise and have her make that choice. If she agrees to it, well...
I don't really care about the future, whether it's free or ruled by CERN, because... Oh, BS, I don't. I know I should care. Suzuha entrusted her wish to me. Doesn't that make it my responsibility?
He's just running away. He's scared, which is understandable.
But still, it doesn't seem quite real. 20 years is a long time, and More importantly, I haven't thought about any of it at all. Out of sight, out of mind, or out of mind, out of mind. Right now, only Mayuri and Kurisu matter. I must choose whom to save. I've spent 2 long weeks with Kurisu. She's one of us now, an integral part of the lab.
More if you count all the time leaping.
And as I leapt through time again and again, she was the person I relied on most. Always calm, always thoughtful, always ready with a new hypothesis, always there to give me a push when I needed it most.
Always there to suggest I do something horrible.
Well, yeah, that too. I wouldn't even have the time leap machine if not for Kurisu. It's thanks to her that I made it this far. Of course, I wouldn't have a need for the time leap machine if she were not alive, but, I mean, doesn't it just figure that the woman whose father was ruined by time travel is the one who ruins the world with time travel, whether intentionally or otherwise?
It's just the will of causality.
After all she's done for me, there's no way I can just abandon her now. By the way, I think the decision is clear.
I still think he should try and think of a way to save her.
Sure, hold on.
Okay.
Well, you were going to say, but if he can't, then you should choose Mayuri. But I'm sorry. Call me a loser. Okay, call me a pathetic little man. Please, insult me gravely. But this is not a choice. This is not a choice. Now, if you can come up with some way to get it both, do that.
He does theoretically have plenty of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't empathize with
damning the world for a girl. Also, 2 weeks with Makise, how long have you known Mayuri? You really want to use that as a judgment?
There you go. You get a girl either way. You could have had other girls too, you know. But in all of the other ones, you know, you're not damning the world and most of the population on it. I mean,
well, except for the one where he chose Luca and gave up on Mayuri and all that, you know. That bad stuff still happens.
Screw the future. I'll kill my own kids. But nor can I let Mayuri die. Everything I've done I did to save her. And I've known her for a lot more than 2 weeks. I'd give anything, even my own life, to see her safe. It's not like I want to give someone else's, but I want to save Mayuri more than anything else. I will not let Mayuri die.
結局どっちも選べない。選べるわけがない。
Kill Kurisu or kill Mayuri. That is what this choice comes down to.
I suppose at its most base level, yes, but then there's also doom the world or save the world, but okay, sure. I understand. He is just a man. He can only take so much and process so much. But still, my point stands.
If they didn't want that to be a consideration, then they shouldn't have included it as a plot element in the game.
Yeah.
こんな結末なのかよ。鈴葉やフェイリスやルカ子や萌えか、みんなの思いを犠牲にしてまでたどり着いたのがこんな結末なのかよ。
Although Moika kind of won out in that exchange.
Is there no other option? No loophole that would allow me to save them both? Look for it! For goodness sake, by all means. That'd be the best.
He has to process these complex emotions first before he can think clearly. I mean, we crap on him, but he has to go through this.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
It's fun to dump on him, though.
What if I use Suzuha's time machine? I could return to the Beta World line, then use her time machine to travel to July 28th?
No, you can't.
No, that won't work. The reason Suzuha leapt to 2010 was to prevent CERN from creating a dystopia. That only occurs on this world line. Well, I mean, it's not entirely true, but if I escape the Well, okay, I guess they were gonna do it anyway But that's sort of where the beta world line comes from, is the world that Suzuha created?
Yes, the world line that she jumped back and killed Makise to create.
Yeah. If I escaped the Alpha world line, the future Suzuha hoped for would become a reality, and she would have no reason to leap back to 2010. That's not true, but... I mean, he doesn't know that, but... It's like we said way back in the beginning of the game, pay attention to what the content in the beginning of the game, because this stuff is important. Then he forgot about all of it, but he never did. On the beta world line, Suzuha's time machine won't exist, so I won't be able to use it. Alright, then what if I send Kurisu a warning via D-mail?
Let's just stop and think about that.
I could warn her not to attend Dr. Nakabachi's presentation.
Hey!
No, that won't work either. The attractor field model still holds. Remember, causality convergence.
ダメだ
You have no proof! Well, okay, I guess her death would have to be a convergence point for the beta world line. Otherwise, she'd perfect... Okay, alright, that's fine. Otherwise, she'd perfect time travel for CERN. I'll let it slide this time!
Rage averted.
俺は助けられない
I'm powerless against the will of fate. What should I do? Maybe Mayuri doesn't die on the current world line.
Ah, blind hope.
I canceled Moika's D-mail. Plus, I haven't had an opportunity to check the divergence meter since. But we've seen it. It was 0.5%. Or 0.05.
Yeah.
0.05, right?
It was instead of 0.52, it was 0.57.
Right.
It was 0.05 was the change in divergence.
That's what I said.
Shut up.
I just don't remember the divergence numbers from after the intro D-mail, because I remember all the events but not the numbers that flashed on the screen. And then I remember the 0.57, which is where we are now, from the Lotto 6 D-mail.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't undo the Lotto 6 D-mail, doesn't that mean that he won't reach 1%?
Presumably?
Maybe not. If the pattern continues, Mayuri's death has been pushed back to the night of the 17th. If Mayuri doesn't die between 6:30 and 7 p.m. that night...
Then I've doomed the world anyway!
Then I won't have to face this horrible decision. That makes everything better, doesn't it? What you said is right. He has to work through this.
He has to process these complex emotions.
I know it's unlikely. I understand that from all of my experiences so far. But still... Komima runs for 3 straight days, from the 15th to the 17th.
Look at that man's lips.
It's the... That's what I did this for. It's the final day.
Oh yeah.
All I'm really doing is holding Mayuri's bags. Komima's not really my thing, and the crowd is ridiculous, so I wait off to the side. From time to time, Mayuri appears with new bags for me to guard, and usually a snack for us to share, but most of the day I spend alone.
He's here himself this time, instead of having one of his friends do it.
You know, conventions aren't really my thing either.
Me either.
Too many people.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the content, because I do, but it's...
We're introverts. What do you want?
To some extent, I'm here to escape reality, to empty my mind and forget my fears. But even when I close my eyes, I can still hear the footsteps of death approaching.
Oh, sorry, sir. I took off my boots. Thump! 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 This is awkward. I should go.
Suddenly, the Chuny romance of all teenage nerds is destroyed at the knowledge that Death is actually like a dumpy, bearded, bald guy.
In boots.
In boots.
Is there a problem?
マユリはこれからどうするんだまっすぐ家に帰るか
ラボに行こうと思ってたんだよ。
何か用事が
特にないけどね。オカリンと 一緒に久々にのんびりしたいなって。
Yeah, she really misses him a lot.
ちょっとお腹が空いたからね、途中でジューシー唐揚げナンバーワンを買うの。
じゃあ帰るか。
Like I said, the moment I brought this up, I can't empathize with this being a conflicting choice. Because of the magnitude. Okay, like for me at least, if the magnitude weren't so great, then I would feel the weight of this choice, okay?
Yeah.
That's me. I was upfront about it. I believe it. Not only is it the way I feel, I'll argue for it, and I'll never back down on this point, ever. Okay? But if I take that aside, this could also be kind of like the stress release culmination of everything that he's had to do.
I see.
Like, he's been able to make all the other choices, been able to fight so hard, and what he finds at the end is that he still hasn't won, and that he can't win. That, more than the particulars, is what is actually
Weighing on him.
ripping him to bits. And so I grant that. Oh.
Yeah, she could tell.
ねえねえオカリ、今日はね、どうしてマユシーについてきてくれたの？これまでは一度もコミマに一緒に行ったことないよね。オカリは萌えには興味ないもんね。
ロボットアニメには興味はある。
Of course he does. I'm a good boy.
I like him 50 times more now. But not so much that I'd line up early in the morning for Komima each year like Daru and Mayuri do, or like, and that's my position on this too. There is no bit of Gundam merchandise
That you would go that far for.
Theoretically, there could be, but as of now, there is not.
で、どうして今日は付き合ってくれたの？
God dang it. God dang it! Okay, I spent all that time viciously beating him up, while acknowledging that it probably wasn't fair, but that I had no choice but to do it, okay? And then 1 second later, he makes me like him more. It's not fair. I have to 180 everything and be more on his side now.
You're so waffling.
People in the same tribe got to stick together. Your face is waffling.
And now, of course, Mayuri, because she is all-knowing and all-seeing, knows something is up.
She is all-knowing and all-seeing. For a given value of no, is all I'm getting at.
それは
I'm really glad to see a scene like this, too.
Well, all the scenes with Okabe and Mayuri are great.
To confirm your death. Those words pop into my head, but I quickly shake them away. Why am I so set on Mayuri dying? I want her to live, remember? That's what I've been working for.
それは？
気まぐれだ。
I really think he needs to tell her.
He really should. She'd understand.
She's better at this than he thinks. Yeah, she doesn't buy that.
そっか。
But she's also not the sort to push.
Yeah, she'll only push a little bit. Or, as Billy would say, suddenly silence. What else can I say? How do you tell someone they're gonna die?
ルカ子がコスプレして恥ずかしがっているところを見て笑ってやろうと思ったのだが来ていなくて残念だった。
ルカ君、絶対大人気になっちゃうのにね。いろんなブログに画像アップされまくってね、新聞社のニュースサイトにも載って、海外にも紹介されちゃったりするよ。
And that's why he will never come.
There may be other things that would be done with those pictures.
But we're not going to talk about that.
And, yeah, but...
そしたらルカ君は、 ワールドワイドなスーパースターなの。で、マユシーはそれを見て遠いところに行っちゃったなーって思いを馳せるのです。
This is a very specific sort of dream, isn't it? Maybe this is what happens in Beta World Line, and she's siphoning memories.
本当にそうなりそうだから困る。
ねえ、オカリ。今日はね、ありがとう。
なんだ、突然。
だってね、さっきも言ったけど、オカリンと一緒にコミマ来たの初めてだもん。
You can do nice things for Mayushi too, you know. Alternately, I suppose you could say that he's doing the nicest thing for Mayushi.
In a way.
マユシーは結構嬉しかったよ。あ、でもね、次はオカリンもコスプレしてくれるともっと嬉しいかも。
Monokuma sent me a CG that she wanted him to come as Lelouch.
As Zero?
As Zero from Code Geass or whatever they called it, like the Code Geass.
That's excellent.
Pretty awesome.
Zero's the right choice for him.
考えておく。
It'd be hot as heck at Komima.
That's right. Don't think negative thoughts. Think about a fun, bright future. Isn't that what you're doing this for?
いいの？本当に？
マユリ自身もコスプレして参加するならな。
Well done.
それだけじゃなく、ルカ子と、それとクリスティーナも呼ぼう。二人にコスプレさせるよう説得しろ。
Is that the ending?
That'd be pretty awesome.
Forget Daru, though, huh?
No one wants to see him in an outfit.
He could be somebody from One Piece.
I guess he could, yeah.
そこまでできたなら、真打ちとして、この俺が狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、王院京馬として、コミマに降臨しようではないか。
All of us, laughing and smiling together. Just imagine a future like that.
そっか、道は険しいね。
I haven't thought about something happy in like 42 years.
Let's just ignore the fact that her death ticks closer with each passing second.
Blind hope.
でもね、今ちょっと想像してみたらとっても楽しそう。それにクリスちゃんはコスプレに興味津々みたいだったし、脈あるかも。マユシ、頑張ってみるね。
Well, here it comes. We arrive at the lab. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah?
Isn't Moeka gonna show up? Take the IBN?
Not necessarily. And if she does, he can time leap.
Okay, so Tennoji and Moeka are fine, but what about all the other ones? So Tennoji died to protect Moeka and his daughter, but, I mean, all the other ones he doesn't really care about, but he died to protect them too! Well, maybe he did. Well, he clearly felt bad for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what the story of FB, of Tennoji Yugo makes me think of?
What?
The next time you get a creepy email asking if you want a job that pays really good...
You maybe question it a little first?
Yeah, it's a virus. Delete it. Is Moeka going to ambush us? On the previous world line, I forgave Moeka and Tennoji. But that has already been undone. This is a new world line. The Rounders are still alive, and they are still after, if not the IBN, the Time Leap machine.
The IBN would just be a bonus, really.
We haven't hacked CERN yet, so...
ここでちょっと待ってろ。
Yeah, but if it's anything like the other world lines, they'll let him time leap again.
If they weren't letting him time leap...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then why did they act the way they did? They dropped him off at his house! I walked down the street towards Kuramaebashi Dori. I'm careful not to take my eyes off of Mayuri.
Even though you know it's gonna happen.
I surveyed the surroundings, searching for any signs of enemy presence. Okay, I found the enemy presence. Now what do I do with it?
Congratulations, you took 10 on your spot check.
It's the dog that catches the car. What do I do?
Run inside a time leap.
Will I die in Mayuri's place? Is that possible? If that will save her, if that'll end this, then maybe it's for the best. No, I don't want to die yet. Two contradictory emotions collide in my mind. My body doesn't know which way to turn. Will I be the one to die?
Yeah, of course.
Something slams into my back. And there, lying in the center of the road, is Mayuri.
Mayuri!
A remarkably pristine.
Let's not worry too much about that.
Did she protect me? But that's not what I wanted!
おかり。
Mayuri. ごめん。俺のせいで。
やっとマユシーはオカリンの
Her hand wanders, as if seeking something.
役に立てたよ。
Jeez.
You're waffling about this girl? For God's sake.
Seriously.
何を。
But this time, it's too much. This time, it is all my fault.
Mayuri. ここからじゃあんまり星が見えないな。こんなのあんまりだろう。
Why did she have to die like this? What possible meaning could this death have? Mayuri's death can't be avoided.
やっと役に立てたって。一体どういう意味なんだよ。なあ。
Okay, so
He time-leapt.
did you say he time-lipped?
He time-leapt. Shut up.
He time-lopped!
Don't you give me any lep.
The sky is blue.
And roses are red.
That's the way it is, punk, so what's it to you? I'm on the roof of the lab after going back 54 hours with 2 time leaps. I wanted more time to think. That's why I came back. Seems legit. You have as much time to think as you want, so why don't you use it?
I would just like to say that if that was CERN, then they did a drive-by and just left. It seemed like that car accident was deliberate. Once again, they didn't try and capture him.
Ah, yes. Okay. But how do I solve this? This equation has no solution. No matter what choice I make, someone dies. You can't save everyone and you can't say everything. You have to make the choice that won't leave a bad taste in your mouth. Suzuha told me that 2010 is a point of great divergence at the attractor field level.
Yes, so much so that there's so many convergence points, apparently.
I think that divergence had already commenced by the time I sent the D-mail reporting Kurisu's death. So, when did divergence begin?
Okay, I see the way he's going.
Well, like you said before, how do you know what the original world line was? Did we start in Beta World Line?
It's hard to say because his reading Steiner should have activated if he had it 10 years ago, which is what we assume that thing was because he said it felt similar.
The time machine's not going to make it activate.
Why wouldn't it? Because if it's changing the past, then it should rewrite everyone's memories except for his.
No.
Why would a time machine not do it, but a D-mail does? Doesn't a time machine cause more divergence?
It's like this line. It did activate. It did happen. Like,
right.
Wasn't that the divergence from the first D-mail?
That's the first D-mail that caused the time to change, but then we got Suzuha jumping around in a time machine, changing the past.
Well, she wasn't changing the past when that's where Okarin was. Look, we've seen D-mails activate reading Steiner. Nai didn't activate reading Steiner.
Correct, because Time Leap Machine doesn't cause enough divergence to activate.
But when Ruka... Yeah, that's right, because when Ruka used a Time Leap Machine...
Something happened!
You said it's because it doesn't cause enough divergence? From whence does that theory that it does not cause divergence spring? He is undoing all the divergence via time leaping. Ultimately, he has to send the D-mail, but it's like when you move to a different place that does not cause divergence. So how is that different with the time machine? Nine didn't trigger reading Steiner. Ruka didn't trigger reading Steiner. So why would Suzuha trigger reading Steiner? It's just the idea that because a time machine is bigger means it causes more divergence is an idea that's being pulled out of the ether with nothing to support it. Well, I would have believed that, except we've seen Naya and we've seen Ruka.
I wasn't going based on the size. I mean, more what you could do with a time machine versus...
Well, the potentiality of an action doesn't determine the results. It just determines the potential.
But isn't that what this whole world line stuff is the scope of potentiality?
Why then is the time machine different than Nai and Ruka time leaping?
Okay.
Well, I still say that in terms of consistency, there's some issues. It's just that if those didn't cause a problem, I don't see why that would. Now that I think about it, reading Steiner activated that day when I sent the D-mail that started it all. At that moment, every pedestrian and vehicle on the main street of Akiba suddenly vanished. Maybe this was when he acquired reading Steiner.
Maybe, but he mentioned that when he got sick 10 years ago, it was a similar sensation.
Yeah.
And they brought it up more than once, so there has to be something.
Same thing with 10 years ago, like 10 years prior, and more. There being a lot of divergence points there, too.
Most divergence points seem to be every 10 years, roughly.
That was the moment I moved to the Alpha world line, presumably from the Beta world line. The real problem is the timing of the D-mail. I moved to the Alpha world line after Kurisu died. It's amazing I can remember that at this point. And also, look at my face. If I had sent the D-mail before she died, then I might have been able to intervene, even now, on this world line. Who killed her, anyway? I still don't know. Why would he have put it together, though?
Why would he have put together the time machine being on top of the building?
He didn't know it was a time machine. He didn't recognize it.
He does now.
He's going to have to be reminded of that event up there before he can...
That's fair.
Now we were very concerned the whole time, and even dug up, and even looked at stuff in the past to confirm that that's the case.
Well, why doesn't his brain work like the recording software we use?
Look, when you create a memory, it's like a rough thing.
Uh-huh.
And the more time that passes, the more fuzzy it gets.
Okay.
Well, no, this isn't a proposition. This is true. Can you tell me otherwise?
I haven't said anything to the contrary.
Unless you're one of, the 350 or whatever the number is, it's extremely small people who do have an eidetic memory.
Oh, God.
Then...
Memories fade over time?
Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't still remember them,
but
obviously.
Often they need a trigger or active effort.
Think about something from 10 years ago. Okay? Like a memory you have from 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I bet it's wrong.
All right, that's true.
The point that I'm getting at, studies on memory have shown this pretty decisively. We actually are terrible at remembering things. We don't remember a darn thing. We're extremely inaccurate with our memories. That doesn't mean you forgot. It means what you remembered isn't the way that it happened.
Oh, so maybe I didn't murder that man.
Well, you know, the important details are probably still relevant, or the ones that meant the most to you. But I won't tell anybody. Fortunately, I'll cut this out in editing.
Just like Elite.
But consider this. When police detectives get eyewitness testimony, if they're ever the same, they become suspicious. In fact, if there are 3 people and all 3 people give the exact same testimony,
it's fishy.
Then it's automatically believed to not be true.
I see.
Okay.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
If you get different but essentially the same testimony, okay, then they're all more or less credible to some degree.
I see.
I mean, to some degree, to the degree that eyewitness testimony is credible. So what I'm getting at is that's what your memories are, is that a type of eyewitness testimony. They're not credible, they're not...
Trustworthy 100%?
Yeah. So, that means if he thinks back, he might remember something completely different on that rooftop. Do you like how now I'm going to bat to defend Okarin?
No.
I'm an easy man to please. Just tell me you like Gundam and we're fine. Okay, so what if I identify the murderer and send them an email warning them off? Would that prevent her death?
Having not yet put together that her death is what creates the Beta Worldline cluster.
I don't think there's anything he can do to send an email to Suzuha that is going to stop her from doing this.
Probably not, no.
The more I think about it, the more futile it seems. When fate wants someone dead, nothing can stop it.
Walking around its giant boots.
Is there really no way to save Kurisu?
Here he comes now. Excuse me, coming through. Did somebody order a pizza? This is awkward. I should leave.
Oh, this is painful.
こんなところで何してる?
Baking in the sun.
いや、
bacon.
No.
よくここが分かったな。
一人になりたいって言ってたから、確率的に見て、ここに一番いそうっていう回を導き出した。
だったら一人にさせてくれ。わざわざ探さなくていい。俺は迷子の子供じゃない。
何よ、せっかく人が心配して探しに来たのに。いや、心配はしてないけど。
Yeah, okay.
So thinking about it, you could also say that every time that he has asked for the permission of the people whose memories he was going to undo was kind of as a build-up for this choice. Doesn't he have to do it?
I guess so, yeah.
And if he doesn't, then that means that it's...
Well, yes, we've already established if he doesn't, that's throwing all of that away.
No, if he doesn't ask her for her permission.
Oh, that's what you meant.
I'm talking about, you know, like the writing structure.
Right.
Okay, because previously everyone else has given him their permission. If it's ever going to change, it's going to be the last one, isn't it?
私だってあんたのことなんて放っておこうかと思った。ただ一昨日の岡部なんか変だったから。まあいつも変なんだけど、いつも以上にって意味で。くそまずいオートミール食べてる時みたいなしょげっぷりじゃない？何があった？
何も。
Not gonna tell her about the time leaping, huh?
なんでセルンへのクラッキングをやめたの？
お前だってクラッキングは良くないと言っていただろう。
大イーホフラグが立ってビビったんですね。わかります。
せめて順法精神に目覚めたと言ってくれ。
Yeah, even she can tell, as knowing him as quote-unquote long as she has.
Well, she always seems to notice when he answers his phone and then starts acting weird.
全然らしくないな。いつもの独善的な態度はどこ行ったのよ。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、法王院京馬のくせに。
独占的でなんかいられるか。今回ばかりは独占的じゃいられないんだ。
I have forced my ego on others before. Suzuha, Theris, Dukako. I sacrificed their dreams. Me. Well, no, that's not true, except for Dukako. I sacrificed their dreams for the sake of my goal. I justified it by telling myself that it was necessary to save Mayuri. I weighed their suffering against the alternative and made my self-righteous choice.
Except that, as you said, they're the ones who ultimately said to do it.
Also, this is BS, and now he's whining and throwing a fit about it. But this time, the alternatives are impossible to compare.
仲間のどちらを見殺しにするかって決断を前にして独善的でいられたら、むしろどれだけ楽だっただろうな。
Also, for someone like Okabe, who is willing to destroy space-time for the people he cares about, this is a worse choice. But,
どちらかを見殺しってどういう意味？
Just tell her.
なあ、クリスティーナ。俺は所詮ただの学生なんだよ。狂気のマッドサイエンティスト。大院京馬。そんなの全部妄想だ。設定だ。気づかなかっただろ。
いや、初対面時点でなんとなく気づいてましたが。
Now I knew you were a weirdo.
初対面か。
yeah, nobody's actually ever fooled by this. Well, what if I hadn't found Kurisu's body back then? If I hadn't seen Kurisu dead, I wouldn't have interrogated her before the seminar at ATF. Without hearing me call her a zombie, she wouldn't have taken an interest in me. She wouldn't have come to the lab. Ultimately, we would never have built the time leap machine, leaving me without the means to save Mayuri. We would not be as close as we are right now.
答えて岡部。どういう意味なの？
Like you said, tell her.
Well, he says they're super close, but he keeps resetting the clock. On her end.
On her end, yeah.
どうしても言わないとダメか。
Yes.
And after all these other times, the contrast is this time he doesn't ask her to come so he can tell her. She goes to find him and he doesn't want to tell her. It's like everything about this is different.
散々相談に乗ってやったでしょ。今さら遠慮するな。
だったら覚悟してくれ。これから話すのは相談じゃない。事実だ。
Okay, if he's actually gonna start talking about that, we're done. A, it's a pretty wicked cliffhanger, which is excellent. But B, we don't have time for that.
Unless it's one of those, like, tells her without actually telling her, just being like, I repeat the same thing I normally say to her.
Well, in that case, we'll be reverse cliffhangered and feel stupid at the beginning of the next episode, and we are required by international law to mock ourselves.
All right, I can accept that.
Excellent. I kind of hope we're wrong now. Why do I want to be mocked according to international law, though?
Maybe something about destroying corporate audit records?